We've all convinced ourselves that a certain car will solve all our problems. It looks good, promises economy, and has just enough charm to feel unique. You picture yourself as the clever one, outsmarting the market. But reality hits, quirks become constant repairs, fuel economy is a joke, and that unique design just looks odd in your driveway. Instead of a reliable companion, you've bought a four-wheeled money pit. It's not just a bad purchase, it's a mechanical betrayal. Today we're naming and shaming the top 3 cars people almost always regret buying. Let's get started. First up, the Jeep Renegade, a car that promises adventure, freedom, and rugged capability, all wrapped up in a boxy, eye-catching package that looks ready for anything. But in reality, it mostly delivers repair bills, headaches, and a steady stream of unexpected expenses that can quickly drain your enthusiasm. It may look tough on the outside, but underneath, it's built on the same platform as a Fiat 500X, which means it shares more with a city car than a true off-roader. The result? Off-road capability that's laughable, with the Renegade struggling on even the mildest trails, and reliability that's even worse, leaving owners stranded far too often. Owners report endless problems. A clunky 9-speed transmission that never seems to find the right gear, oil-thirsty engines that demand constant top-ups, and electrical gremlins galore that make every drive a gamble. Consumer Reports rates its reliability as abysmal. Parts are expensive, the ride is rough and jittery, and you'll feel every bump in the road. And to make matters worse, fuel economy is poor for its size, so you'll be stopping at the pump more often than you'd like. You buy into the Jeep dream, but end up with a Fiat in disguise. Fragile, costly, and stressful, with none of the legendary Jeep toughness you were promised. The Renegade is a masterclass in marketing over substance, selling an image that falls apart the moment you leave the showroom. It's not just disappointing, it's a broken promise on 4 wheels, leaving owners frustrated and out of pocket. If you want real adventure, look elsewhere. The Renegade is regret personified, a cautionary tale for anyone chasing the Jeep legend. Next, the Smart Fortwo, a car that, at first glance, seems tailor-made for the challenges of city life. Its compact size and quirky design promise a stress-free urban commute, and it's easy to imagine yourself zipping through traffic, squeezing into parking spots that other cars can only dream of. But spend a little time with it, and the cracks in the fantasy start to show. The Smart Fortwo quickly reveals its flaws, and the reality is far less charming than the idea. Sure, it's incredibly easy to park, slipping into spaces that would make most drivers envious, but, unfortunately, that's where the list of real advantages comes to a screeching halt. For such a tiny car you'd expect stellar fuel economy, but the numbers are surprisingly mediocre. It's not the efficient city runabout you might hope for. In fact, larger hatchbacks like the Honda Civic not only offer better fuel economy, but also more space, comfort, and versatility for daily life. Take it onto the motorway, and the experience becomes downright nerve-wracking. The Smart Fortwo feels out of its depth, buffeted by wind, slow to accelerate, and you're always acutely aware of how small and vulnerable you are among bigger vehicles. The early gearbox is notoriously jerky, making every drive feel awkward and fatiguing. Shifting gears becomes a constant reminder of the car's compromises. Storage is another letdown. There's barely any cargo space. Even a simple solo grocery run can turn into a frustrating game of Tetris. Safety is more about perception than reality. Surrounded by SUVs and trucks, you always feel exposed, and that sense of vulnerability never really goes away. The Smart Fortwo is a one-trick pony, and that trick is parking. Beyond that, it struggles to justify its existence. For everything else, comfort, practicality, and driving enjoyment, it falls short. Regret creeps in fast, especially after the novelty wears off. You wanted clever, efficient urban transport, but what you got was a compromised, joyless machine that never quite lives up to its promise. Sometimes a bus pass or a good pair of walking shoes really is the smarter, more satisfying choice for city living. The Smart Fortwo, clever in theory, regrettable in practice, and ultimately a solution in search of a real problem. Finally, the Fiat 500L. A car so disappointing it's become a legend of regret. It's the kind of vehicle that makes you question every decision that led you to its driver's seat. The 500L promised to bring Italian flair and practicality to families, but what it delivered was a masterclass in unmet expectations. It takes the charm of the original 500 and inflates it into a bloated, awkward mess. What was once cute and iconic is now stretched and distorted, losing all the personality that made the classic so beloved. The styling doesn't scale up, it just looks unhappy. The proportions are off, the details are clumsy, and the whole car seems to wear a permanent frown. Inside, it's all hard plastics and flimsy switches, with build quality that feels rushed and cheap. Every touchpoint reminds you that corners were cut, and the interior quickly loses its appeal. The Uconnect system is buggy, electrical issues are constant, and owners spend more time at the dealership than on the road. It's a car that seems to always have a warning light on, and the tech is more frustrating than helpful. Driving it is no better. Spongy brakes, lifeless steering, and a clumsy ride make every trip a chore. There's no joy behind the wheel, just a sense of resignation as you trundle along. In 2015, Consumer Reports ranked it dead last in customer satisfaction. Owners voiced their disappointment loudly, and the 500L quickly became infamous for letting people down. It's ugly, miserable to drive, and catastrophically unreliable. Mechanical failures are common, and the car's reputation for breakdowns is well-earned. Maintenance is expensive, and breakdowns are frequent. Even simple repairs can turn into wallet-draining nightmares, leaving owners frustrated and stranded. You wanted a practical family car, but got a rolling liability. Instead of road trips and memories, you get stress and unexpected bills. The Fiat 500L isn't just regrettable, it's a cautionary tale. It's a reminder that not every new model is an upgrade, and sometimes bigger really isn't better. If you see one, walk away. Fast. Your sanity and your wallet will thank you. So there you have it. 3 cars that promised much but delivered only regret. They're reminders that looks and marketing can't make up for poor engineering. Every driver has a story of a car they wish they'd never bought. These are just 3 of the worst. But there are plenty more out there. If you love one of these, no hard feelings. But the numbers don't lie. Got your own regret? Or disagree? Let's hear it in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe for more brutally honest car breakdowns.